There's a lie that has been whispered into your ear for as long as you can remember. It is a seductive lie, a comforting lie, and it is the single greatest reason why you are still standing in the exact same spot you were standing in last year. The lie is that the people you admire, the titans, the visionaries, the unstoppable forces of nature, possess something you do not. You look at them and you see magic, you see talent, you see luck. You tell yourself they were born with a fire that you simply do not have. But I am here to tell you the brutal, unvarnished truth that is nonsense. The difference between the person you are right now and the person you know you could be in 2026 isn't a gene. It isn't a bank account. It isn't a lightning strike of inspiration. The difference is the boring, unsexy, quiet work that happens when nobody is watching. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are simply unstructured. You are drowning in good intentions and starving for a system. We are standing at the precipice of a new era. 2026 is coming, whether you are ready for it or not. And right now, you have a choice. You can keep waiting for that perfect moment, that Monday morning when you suddenly wake up feeling energized, motivated, and ready to conquer the world. Or you can realize that motivation is a fair weather friend. It is a flake. It shows up when the sun is shining and leaves the moment the storm hits. If you build your life on the foundation of feeling like it, you are building a castle on quicksand. To become truly unstoppable, you have to stop trying to. Be motivated and start becoming disciplined. But discipline isn't about punishment. It isn't about white-knuckling your way through misery. True discipline is a form of self-love. It is the ability to make a promise to yourself and keep it. Think about that. If you had a friend who lied to you as often as you lied to yourself, who said, "I'll do it tomorrow," and never did, you would have cut them out of your life years ago. Yet, you accept this behavior from yourself every single day. Today, that ends. Today, we are not just talking about habits. We are talking about rewriting your genetic code through action. We are talking about the architecture of your soul. Let's strip away the noise and get to the core of what makes a human being unstoppable. It starts with a shift in identity. This is the secret that most people miss. They try to change what they do before they change who they are. They say, "I want to run a marathon." That is a goal. Goals are fine, but goals have finish lines. And what happens when you cross the finish line? You stop. The unstoppable person doesn't say, "I want to run." They say, "I am a runner." It sounds like a subtle shift, but it changes everything. When you identify as a runner, you don't ask yourself, "Should I run today?" Because that's just what you do. It's who you are. You can't go against your own nature. So, the first step in this transformation is not a physical action. It is a mental violent act. You have to kill the old version of you. The version that makes excuses. The version that hits snooze. The version that scrolls through social media for 3 hours, numbing the pain of mediocrity. You have to look in the mirror, really look eye to eye deep into your own pupils and ask, who am I pretending to be? That sting you feel, that's your potential dying, and we need to resuscitate it. The foundation of your unstoppable life begins the moment you open your eyes. The morning is not just a time of day. It is the rudder of your ship. If you lose the morning, you spend the rest of the day chasing it. Most of you wake up and immediately surrender your mind to the world. You grab your phone, you check the news, the emails, the likes, the drama. Before your feet even touch the floor, you are reacting. You are already on the defense. An unstoppable operator plays offense. You need to reclaim the first 60 minutes. This is your warrior hour. It doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 8 a.m., but the first hour must belong to you. It starts with something so small it seems ridiculous. Make your bed. I know you've heard it before, but listen to the psychology behind it. Life is chaotic. You cannot control the traffic, the economy, or your boss's mood. But you can control the corners of your bed sheets. When you make your bed, you are proving to your brain that you are a person of order. You are securing the first win of the day. And success is nothing more than a stack of small wins. From that small win, we move to the body. You have to move. Stagnant water breeds poison. A stagnant body breeds anxiety. You don't need to run 10 miles. You just need to generate energy. Motion creates emotion. When you move your body, push-ups, a walk-in, the sunlight, stretching, you are flushing the cortisol out of your system and flooding it with endorphins. You are signaling to your biology that you are alive and ready to hunt. But here is where the magic happens. While the world is loud, you must find silence. We live in an age of overstimulation. We are terrified of boredom. We fill every second with noise because silence forces us to face ourselves. But the unstoppable mind craves silence. Take 10 minutes, just 10. Sit, breathe. Visualize the day ahead, not as a burden, but as a battlefield. you are going to dominate. This isn't just meditation, this is mental rehearsal. Athletes do it, CEOs do it. They live the future before it happens. By the time you walk out your door, you should have already lived your day in your mind. You should already know what victory looks like. Now, let's talk about the mechanism of the habit itself. You might be thinking, I've tried this. I start and then I quit. That is because you are relying on willpower. And willpower is a battery that runs out. You need to build habit loops. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It craves a cue, a routine, and a reward. If you want to build a habit of reading, don't just say, I'll read more. That's a wish. You need a cue. After I pour my coffee, I will read 1 page. That is the formula. After current habit, I will new habit. You are hacking your brain's existing software. You are hitching a ride on the things you already do automatically. And you must embrace the law of the 1%. This is where so many of you fail. You want the revolution overnight. You want to fix your entire life in 1 day, but that is violent and it is unsustainable. The brain hates drastic change. It fights it. It perceives it as a threat. So you sneak up on it. You don't aim for 100% improvement. You aim for 1%. Just 1% better than yesterday. If you improve by 1% every day, mathematically you are 37 times better by the end of the year. 37 times. That is the difference between a novice and a master. But be warned, there is a trap. It is the all or nothing mindset. You tell yourself, I missed a day. I ruined the streak. I might as well give up. That is the voice of the loser inside you. The unstoppable person knows the rule. Never miss twice. Life happens. You will get sick. You will get tired. You will miss a day. That is human. But missing 2 days, that is the start of a new bad habit. When you slip, you don't spiral. You reset immediately. You don't wait for Monday. You reset at the very next meal, the very next hour. You treat failure not as a destination, but as data. Okay, I stumbled. Why? I was tired. Okay, tonight I sleep earlier. You adjust and you keep moving. There's a concept called the 2-minute rule that will save you when you are at your lowest. On the days when you feel heavy, when the depression is creeping in, when the bed feels like a magnet, you lie to yourself. You say, I will just do 2 minutes. You don't have to work out for an hour. Just put on your shoes. You don't have to write the book. Just write 1 sentence. You don't have to read the chapter. Just read the first paragraph. The hardest part of any rocket launch is the liftoff. It takes the most fuel just to leave the ground. Once you're in motion, physics takes over. Newton's law, an object in motion stays in motion. Your only job is to get into motion. Just 2 minutes. As you build these daily actions, you must become a guardian of your environment. You cannot heal in the same environment where you got sick. If your phone is the source of your distraction, you cannot sleep with it next to your pillow. That is like an alcoholic sleeping with a bottle of vodka on the nightstand. You have to design your life to make the good habits easy and the bad habits hard. If you want to eat healthy, throw out the junk. If you want to focus, delete the apps. Stop relying on your willpower to resist temptation and simply remove the temptation. The unstoppable person knows they are weak, so they build walls to protect their focus. Let's go deeper into the mindset of the unstoppable. It is not just about what you do. It is about how you view the world. You must adopt a philosophy of radical responsibility. Everything in your life, your weight, your bank account, your happiness, is a print out of your habits. If you don't like the printout, stop yelling at the paper. Change the code. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your ex. Blame is a victim's game. When you blame, you give your power away. When you take responsibility, you take your power back. You say, I created this mess so I can clean it up. That is a terrifying realization, but it is also the most liberating one you will ever have. You have to learn to fall in love with boredom. We live in a world that sells us constant dopamine hits. We scroll, we swipe, we click. We are junkies for novelty, but mastery is boring. Mastery is doing the same rep, the same swing, the same sentence over and over again until you can't get it wrong. The unstoppable successes, the Kobe Bryants, the Elon Musks, they didn't get there because they were constantly entertained. They got there because they could endure the boredom of consistency better than anyone else. They found joy in the plateaus. While you are looking for the hack, they are doing the work. And in this journey to 2026, you must understand the power of the vacuum. You cannot add new habits to a life that is already full of garbage. You have to create space. You have to say no. No is a complete sentence. It is the most powerful word in your vocabulary. You have to say no to the happy hours that drain your energy. No to the friends who only want to gossip. No to the obligations that don't align with your mission. Every time you say yes to something minor, you are saying no to your future. You need to prune your life. Cut the dead weight. It will be lonely at first. You will look around and realize the crowd is gone. Good. Eagles fly alone. Pigeons flock together. If you want to be unstoppable, get comfortable with solitude. Think about the sheer mathematical power of your daily choices. We often overestimate what we can do in a day, but we vastly underestimate what we can do in a year or 2 years. By 2026, you could be a completely different biological entity. Your cells regenerate. Your neural pathways rewire if you start today, not tomorrow. Today, by the time 2026 arrives, you won't just have achieved your goals. You will have surpassed them because you became the person capable of achieving them. The goal isn't the $1 million. The goal is becoming the person who can make the $1 million. The goal isn't the perfect body. The goal is becoming the person who doesn't miss a workout. But there is a shadow lurking here, a thief that steals your progress. Just when you start to see results, it is the most dangerous trap of all because it feels like success. It is the trap of arrival. The moment you think you have made it, you start to slide back. You see, comfort is the enemy of growth. The moment you get comfortable, you start to die. The unstoppable person never arrives. They are always climbing. There is always another mountain. I want you to think about the warrior's hour again. Step 4 of that hour is the dump. Write it down. You cannot carry the weight of the world in your head. Your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. Every morning or every night, dump your chaos onto paper. Get it out. The anxiety, the to-do list, the fears. When you write it down, you trap the demon. You can see it. You can strategize against it. Clarity is power. Most people are walking around in a fog of their own unorganized thoughts. Clear the fog. Write until your mind is empty and your focus is sharp. And speaking of focus, let's talk about deep work. In a distracted world, focus is the new IQ. If you can sit in a chair and work on one thing, one single thing for 2 hours without looking at your phone, you are in the top 1% of the human population. That is a fact. We have lost the ability to go deep. We skim, we surf, but the treasure is at the bottom of the ocean. You need to build a fortress around your attention. Block out the time. Inform your family. Put on the headphones. When you are in that zone, you are not just working. You are bending reality to your will. But how do you keep going? When the tank is empty, when the motivation is gone, when the coffee doesn't work, when the world is pressing down on you. This is where you need a why that makes you cry. If your goal is just to look good or to make money, you will quit. Those are surface reasons. You need a root reason. Are you doing this to break a generational curse? Are you doing this so your children never have to struggle the way you did? Are you doing this to prove to the ghosts of your past that they were wrong about you? Find that dark, deep, emotional fuel. The kind of fuel that burns even when it's wet. Connect this to the concept of memento mori. Remember that you will die. It sounds morbid, but it is the ultimate clarifier. You do not have infinite time. The clock is ticking. Every second that passes is a second you never get back. Are you going to spend your limited time on this earth scrolling through the curated lives of strangers? Or are you going to build something that lasts? The Stoics knew this. They carried the thought of death in their pockets, not to be sad, but to be urgent. Urgency is the antidote to procrastination. Act as if this is your last chance because one day it will be. You have to understand that this journey to 2026 is going to be lonely. It is going to be hard. You will be misunderstood. People will say you've changed. They will say you are obsessed. Smile at them. Obsessed is just a word the lazy use to describe the dedicated. You are not obsessed. You are focused. You are pruning the branches so the tree can grow taller. Now pause. Breathe. I want you to visualize your future self, not as a dream, but as a memory waiting to happen. See them. How do they walk? How do they speak? What time do they wake up? That person is waiting for you to make the decision. But there is a specific mechanism, a final piece of the puzzle that locks all of this into place. It is the bridge between the thought and the action. Without this, everything I've just told you is merely entertainment. Without this, you will watch this video, feel a spark, and then go back to sleep. You need to understand the concept of the pact. The pact is not a wish. It is not a New Year's resolution scribbled on a napkin and forgotten by February. A pact is a blood oath you make with reality. It is a binding contract where you raise the stakes so high that the pain of not doing the work becomes far greater than the pain of doing it. You see, the human brain is a survival mechanism. It is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. If the consequence of sleeping in is just feeling a little guilty, you will hit snooze every single time. But if the consequence of sleeping in is that you have to pay your most hated enemy $500, or you have to donate to a political cause you despise, or you have to confess a shameful secret to your mentor, suddenly you are awake. You are out of bed before the alarm even rings. This is the secret weapon of the unstoppable. They do not trust their future selves. They know that the you of tomorrow morning will be tired, weak, and looking for a way out. So, the you of tonight sets a trap. You lock yourself into a course of action. You give a friend the power to hold you accountable, and you give them permission to be ruthless. You say, if I do not send you proof of my workout by 7 a.m., you donate my money. This is how you bypass willpower. You don't need willpower when you have necessity. Unstoppable people don't rely on wanting to do it. They create a scenario where they have to do it. But let's be honest about what happens next. You start the habits. You make the pact. You get the accountability. And for 2 weeks, maybe 3, you feel like a god. You are crushing it. You are drinking the water, reading the books, lifting the weights, and then the silence comes. The valley of disappointment. This is the place where dreams go to die. This is the place where you look at the scale and it hasn't moved. You look at your bank account and it looks exactly the same. You look at your life and you think, I am doing all this work. So where's the reward? This is the moment that separates the 1% from the 99%. The 99% stop here. They say this isn't working. They turn back. But you are going to stay in the valley. You are going to set up camp in the valley because you understand the physics of the bamboo. You know this story, but you need to feel it. You plant a bamboo seed. You water it. You fertilize it. You wait. 1 year passes, nothing. The ground is flat. 2 years, nothing. 3 years, still nothing. People start to whisper. They say you are crazy. They say you are watering dirt. They laugh at your discipline because they cannot see your results. But you keep watering. You keep showing up. Then in the 5th year, something breaks the surface. And in 6 weeks, just 6 weeks, that bamboo tree shoots up 90 feet into the air. Now ask yourself, did it grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer is obvious. If you had stopped watering it in year 3 or year 4, it would have died in the ground. You are in year 3 right now. Your habits, your daily actions. They are building a root system so massive, so deep, so complex, that when you finally break through, your growth will terrify people. They will call it an overnight success. You will just smile, because you know about the years of watering dirt when no one was watching. However, to survive that waiting period, to survive the silence, you have to confront the most painful part of this transformation. You have to look at the people around you. There is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It is a cliche because it is true, but we rarely talk about how much it hurts to fix it. If you are serious about 2026, you might have to leave people behind. This is the social surgery. You have friends right now who love the old you. They love the you who drinks too much on weekends. They love the you who gossips. They love the you who is broke and complains about the system. Why? Because that version of you makes them feel safe. It validates their own mediocrity. When you start changing, when you start saying no to the bar because you have a morning routine, when you start reading instead of watching the game, they will not applaud you. They will attack you. They will say you've changed. They will say, you think you're better than us? They are not trying to hurt you. They are trying to protect their own egos. Your growth shines a spotlight on their stagnation, and it burns. You have a choice. You can dim your light to make them comfortable, or you can keep burning and let them wear sunglasses. The unstoppable person chooses the light. It means you might walk alone for a while. It means Saturday nights might be lonely. But you have to realize that you cannot become an eagle while you are surrounded by pigeons. Pigeons peck at the ground. Eagles hunt. If you want to hunt, you have to go where the eagles are. You have to find the rooms where you are the dumbest, poorest, least successful person in the circle. Those rooms will scare you, but they will force you to level up just to survive as you navigate this loneliness. You will need an anchor. You need a keystone habit. In architecture, the keystone is the center stone in an arch that holds all the other stones in place. If you remove it, the whole thing collapses. In your life, there is one habit that if you nail it, makes everything else easier. For many, it is physical exercise. It's not about the vanity of six-pack abs. It is about the physiology of discipline. When you train your body, you are teaching your mind that pain is not a stop sign. When your lungs are burning and your legs are shaking and a voice in your head screams stop, but you force yourself to do one more rep, You are forging a neural pathway of resilience. You are proving to yourself that you are the master of your biology, not its slave. That strength bleeds into everything else. When you sit down to work and you feel bored, that same muscle memory kicks in. I pushed through the squat. I can push through this report. I held the plank. I can hold my tongue in this argument. If you are lost, if you don't know where to start with the body. Hard body, soft life, soft body. Hard life, the choice is yours. But even with a strong body, your mind is under constant siege. We are living in the age of the attention economy. Trillion-dollar companies have hired the smartest neuroscientists in the world with one singular goal: to hijack your dopamine receptors. Every notification, every red dot, every autoplay video is a precision-engineered weapon aimed at your focus. And you are walking onto this battlefield unarmed. You wonder why you have anxiety. You wonder why you can't sleep. It's because you are overdosed on digital junk food. You need to implement a dopamine detox. This doesn't mean you go live in a cave. It means you reclaim your sovereignty. You have to set boundaries that are non-negotiable. No phones in the bedroom, period. Buy an alarm clock, the old-fashioned kind, that just rings. When you wake up, do not let the world crash into your brain before you have even brushed your teeth. Give yourself the gift of your own thoughts. Think about the sheer arrogance of thinking you can achieve your dreams while distracted. Focus is the currency of the future. The ability to do deep work, to sit with a hard problem for 4 hours without checking a device, is becoming a superpower because it is so rare. While your competition is twitching, scrolling, and reacting, you are building. You are creating. You are thinking. In a world of shallow noise, depth is the ultimate competitive advantage. And as you go deep, you must also go wide in your perspective. You must adopt the philosophy of the obstacle as the way. This is Stoicism 101. But we need to upgrade it for 2026. When bad things happen, and they will happen, you cannot just endure them. You must use them. The unstoppable person is an alchemist. They take the lead of failure and turn it into the gold of wisdom. You lost your job. Good. Now you have the pressure you needed to start that business. You went through a breakup. Good. Now you have the time to focus on yourself and the emotional depth to understand human nature better. You got injured. Good. Now you can train your mind while your body heals. This isn't just optimism. It is a tactical reframing of reality. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, how can I use this? The moment you do that, you become invincible. Because if you can use your pain as fuel, then nothing can stop you. The world runs out of ammunition because everything it throws at you, you just catch and load into your own gun. This brings us to the concept of the lag. We live in a microwave society. We press a button and we want the meal. But greatness is a slow cooker. You have to make peace with the lag time between your actions and your results. You have to fall in love with the boredom of consistency. The media loves to show the trophy, the check, the podium. They never show the thousands of hours of repetitive, monotonous practice. They don't show the early mornings in the rain. They don't show the Friday nights spent studying. You have to find a way to enjoy the grind. Not the grind where you burn out and hate your life, but the rhythmic, meditative grind of mastery. The Japanese call it kaizen. Continuous, never-ending improvement. It is the belief that you are a project that is never finished. You are always in beta mode. Even when you win, you are looking for the 1% you missed. Not because you are never satisfied, but because you are curious. How good can I actually get? What is the limit of my potential? You treat your life like a scientific experiment. You tweak the variables. You adjust the sleep. You adjust the diet. You adjust the workflow. You are the scientist and the subject. And in this experiment, you must be wary of the drift. The drift is subtle. It doesn't happen with a bang. It happens with a whisper. You miss one workout. Then you eat one bad meal. Then you skip one reading session. And suddenly, 3 months have gone by and you are back where you started. To fight the drift, you need review rituals. Every Sunday, you must stop the machine. You have to look at the data. You have to look at your week like a football coach watches game tape. Where did I win? Where did I lose? Why did I lose Tuesday morning? Oh, I stayed up late Monday watching TV. Okay, that's the leak. You plug the leak. You adjust the plan. If you are not reviewing your life, you are not living it. You are just drifting through it. The unexamined life is not just not worth living. It is impossible to improve. Now, let's talk about the energy that drives this machine. It cannot just be ambition. Ambition burns dirty. It leaves a residue of stress and anxiety. You need a cleaner fuel. You need gratitude. I know it sounds soft, It sounds like something you see on a Hallmark card. But hear me out. Gratitude is not about being happy-go-lucky. Gratitude is a performance enhancer. When your brain is in a state of gratitude, it cannot be in a state of fear. Those two emotions cannot occupy the same space. When you are grateful, your mind opens up. You see opportunities instead of obstacles. You have more energy. An unstoppable person doesn't just hustle, they flow. They operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. They know that they already have enough, which ironically is exactly what allows them to get more. Wake up and find 3 things, small things to be grateful for. The coffee, the roof, the breath in your lungs. It primes your brain to win. But there is a darker fuel you can use too. The anti-vision. Sometimes it is hard to know exactly what you want, but you definitely know what you don't want. I want you to visualize the version of you that gave up. Visualize the you of 2026 who didn't do the work. Or see them. They are out of shape. They are bitter. They are jealous of their friends. They are full of regret. They are telling stories about what they could have done. Look at that person. Smell the stagnation on them. Let that image terrify you. Run away from that person. Sometimes you are not running towards heaven. You are running away from hell. And that is fine. Whatever gets you moving, use the fear of regret. Use the fear of being average. Use the fear of arriving at your deathbed with the song still inside you. Because here's the truth about time. It is not renewable. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose a friend and make a new one, but you cannot get back yesterday. The hour you spent watching that mindless video gone forever. You are trading your life 1 hour at a time for whatever you are doing. Is it a good trade? Are you getting good value for your life? The unstoppable person treats time with a holy reverence. They say no to almost everything so they can say yes to the few things that matter. They protect their time like a miser protects their gold. They don't let people pick their brain for free. They don't sit in meetings that have no agenda. They are ruthless with their calendar because they know that their calendar is their destiny. And as you build these habits, as you construct this fortress of discipline, you must remember to remain fluid. Be water, my friend. Bruce Lee said it best. Structure is good, but rigidity is brittle. If you are too rigid, you will break when the storm comes. And the storm will come. Life will throw you a curveball. A family member will get sick. The economy will crash. Your plan will fall apart. The unstoppable person adapts. They don't cry because the bridge is out. They build a boat. They don't quit because the gym is closed. They do push-ups in the living room. Consistency doesn't mean doing the exact same thing at the exact same time every day perfectly. Consistency means never quitting. It means if you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl. But you keep moving forward. The method may change, but the mission remains the same. You are building a character that is anti-fragile, not just resilient. Resilient means you take a hit and stay the same. Anti-fragile means you take a hit and get stronger. Like a bone that heals thicker after a break. Like the immune system that learns from a virus. You want to build a life where the chaos of the world actually makes you better. Where the stress forces you to evolve. This journey to 2026 is an evolution of your soul. It is about shedding the skin of the victim and stepping into the skin of the victor. It is about realizing that nobody is coming to save you. No politician, no guru, no lottery ticket. You are the rescue party. You are the hero you have been waiting for. And when you finally accept that responsibility fully, completely, without reservation, a shift happens. You stop looking for motivation. You stop looking for permission. You just start doing. You become a force of nature. You become the person who walks into a room and the energy changes not because you're allowed, but because you are solid. Because you have kept thousands of promises to yourself. Because you have conquered the morning, conquered the body, conquered the distractions. You become dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to the status quo. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to the excuses that hold other people back. But there is one final critical element. The invisible thread that ties the morning routine, the deep work, the physical training, and the mindset together. It is the concept of the gift. You have to realize that this hard work, this struggle, this discipline, it is not a burden. It is a privilege. To have a body that can move is a gift. To have a mind that can learn is a gift. To have a day to strive for a goal is a gift. There are millions of people in graveyards who would give anything for just one of your bad days. They would give anything to have the chance to struggle with the problems you're complaining about. When you shift your perspective from I have to do this to I get to do this, the friction disappears. I get to work out. I get to eat healthy. I get to build a business. It changes the energy from obligation to appreciation. And appreciation is the highest form of energy. So, As we stare down the barrel of the future, as we look at the calendar turning towards 2026, I need you to understand that the clock is ticking. But it's not a countdown to doomsday. It's a countdown to your debut. The world is waiting for the real you, not the watered-down, distracted, fearful version. The unstoppable you. The habits we have discussed. The morning warrior. The deep work. The pact. The review. These are just tools. A hammer is useless without a carpenter. You are the carpenter. You are building the house of your life. Are you building a shack or are you building a cathedral? Every choice is a brick. Every action is a brick. Every thought is a brick. Lay them with care. Lay them with precision. Because you're going to have to live inside what you build. And let me tell you, the walls of that house, the cathedral of your character, are held together by the mortar of your integrity. But there is a silent structural flaw that brings down more cathedrals than any storm, any earthquake, or any external enemy. It is the termite of self-sabotage. You need to understand the psychology of your own limitations. There is a thermostat in your mind. It is set to the temperature of what you think you deserve. When you start executing these habits, when you wake up early for 30 days straight, when your body starts to transform, when your bank account starts to grow, the temperature rises, you are entering a new zone of existence, and your subconscious mind, which is addicted to the familiar, starts to panic. It says, it's getting too hot in here. We don't belong here. This isn't us. So what happens? You pick a fight with your spouse for no reason. You binge eat an entire pizza after a month of clean eating. You procrastinate on the big project right when it's about to succeed. You turn down the thermostat. You sabotage your own glory to return to the comfort of your struggle. You have to anticipate this mechanism. When things start going too well, that is when you must be most vigilant. That is when the inner voice of mediocrity screams the loudest. You have to look that voice in the face and say, no, I am not lucky to be here. I earned this. I belong here. Turn the heat up. You must replace the question, why me, with the declaration, try me. This brings us to the concept of the season of imbalance. The world sells you a fantasy called work-life balance. It paints a picture of a life where everything is perfectly distributed. 33% work, 33% family, 33% health, all happening simultaneously every single day. That is a lie designed to make you feel inadequate. The unstoppable person understands that greatness requires obsession. You cannot launch a rocket with a balanced diet of fuel. You need a massive, violent explosion of energy to break gravity. There will be seasons in your journey to 2026 where you are completely out of balance. There will be a season where you are obsessively building your body and maybe your social life suffers. There will be a season where you are building your business and maybe your sleep suffers for a short window. That is okay. Balance is the goal for the end of life. Focus is the strategy for the middle of life. Do not apologize for your obsession. Do not apologize